Hello everybody and welcome to this new podcast. I've been doing a lot of talking lately and I just want to say a few things. Okay, so if you've read my community tab, you should see a lot of writing, a lot of things that I've put on there, and I've been talking about bugs. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do about bugs, but yeah, this is not the point at the moment. I've got a text up at the moment on my computer right now. We've actually got a lot of things that I'm explaining. Now, we're going to talk about Jazzys World of Fun, of course. It's this whole different sort of thing. Now, I have mentioned that there would be cars that have the appearance of a bug. Of course, there's an exoskeleton of a bug, and then there's the fact that if you were to have a bracelet and you just scan it every time you go into a concert, which means it would be cool. And there's talk of, like, in that text right there about pods where you can just sit and you can watch a show. It'd be like it'd be completely different sort of thing. It's like a outer space sort of thing. I mean, there's a lot of movies that have that sort of stuff in it, and of course I'm thinking maybe there might be a possibility this could be turned into a film. Basically a film that's based around Jazzys World of Fun. As you know, there's lots of videos on my YouTube channel about all kinds of things, so that means Jazzys World of Fun would be a very interesting movie. I'd have to have a plot line, so if I continue to keep doing these little videos in the community tab, which you need to go check out because I put a lot of effort into writing these, and of course there's a lot of things that could happen. If you create a place where there's so many interactive things, then that's good, but also there needs to be some quiet places as well. And of course there's a lot of things that could happen in the future designed. I know that libraries are supposed to be quiet, so maybe you imagine a library in space. And also the fact that when you actually go into a spaceship and you come back into Earth, there's a balloon that you just drops you. That is okay you're using parachutes, but really, should it really be like that? There's a lot of things that need to be physically improved on this. And of course, a spaceport, right? That is something we actually do want to get in the future. I would particularly think it would be a very good idea, but we need to design the spaceships for that. And of course, the fact is, everyone might have to if everyone wants to own a spaceship, you're going to have to learn how to handle the G-forces and all that sort of stuff. There's a lot of energy in that, and it takes a long time. And of course, if someone actually getting an astronaut license, just like a car license, would be very, very interesting. It does exist, but yeah, I think you imagine like having all these floating seats in a theater, and then maybe that would make things a whole lot more interesting. Keeping in mind that a lot of people go to movies, theaters for shows and stuff. And then ship parking, there'll be a lot of ships, so we have to deal with that. But thinking about it, there's a lot of things that are fundamental things that could actually happen. There would have to be, like, you know how you got people that control planes and help park the planes. It'd have to have a lot of those people as in the workers for planes. I don't know what sort of called, but they control planes. They just do this all the time. And there's a lot of fundamentals, and I'll have to upgrade a few things. Now we have rockets and stuff, but that is just something really out of the ordinary. And of course, sometimes technology has to be out of the box. And of course, there's a lot of things that could happen, and particularly, I'm thinking that there's a lot of topics that needs to be touched on. And if there's any Like, what do you want to see in the future? Do you want to see flying cars? Do you want to see flying ships? Oh yeah, we had there were some ships that existed that really weren't designed. They were designed correctly. I think there was this big Zeppelin sort of things, big balloon airships. I think there's a lot there that went wrong, and it's not the best. But it's probably because of the materials and the stuff that they use for those things. Hear this, it's the materials. You gotta make sure you double check your materials and think about it. Think about this. You do not put one thing you don't put oil on something and then expect it to put some fire in there. You don't do that. That is not how it works. We want to make sure transportation is safe and easy, and of course looking at the videos, this video right now, I'm thinking what could possibly be improved. Like example, imagine if you could wear a glove and it's like a phone sort of thing, but that's sort of like out of the ordinary. It could happen, it could not, but yeah, it takes a bit of time. And of course theatres, they might be upgraded, and I think it might be time now for people to think about how theatres are designed, because there's a lot of things like, maybe what could happen is, just to fix this issue, what if digital holographic popcorn? How about that? Like, instead of, you could have your original popcorn, and then you have these little put VR, and then you can throw the popcorn without hurting anyone. Because think about it, if you have virtual reality can be made, what if you were to wear a virtual reality thing and you just say, you don't have that way, keep things organized? Because there's a thing called chicken jockey, which is not the best, and I think virtual reality would be interesting. Imagine if you had a virtual reality cinema. That's something you could actually do, but also due to some people might not like wearing the headsets and stuff, it's a lot to take in. There's a lot of things to think about when you want to upgrade a movie theatre or a theatre. There's a lot of things that might have to change due to the changes, and it might take people a little while to adjust to it. And even flying cars and stuff, there's a lot of flying cars out there, and particularly hypothetically, it takes time for new technology to settle in. And of course, you've got to understand how the technology works before you know how to use it. And of course, nowadays there's a lot of technology everywhere. Even this device that you're using right now to view this video, think about it. What are you looking at right now? You're looking at a phone, a tablet, or that sort of stuff. So practically, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of systems that are in place at the moment, and maybe a travel pod. If there's a thing called I mentioned a travel pod sort of thing. That would be interesting. You could it's like a robotic there's Uber stuff, Uber something, I'll mention that. Of course, personal taxi, robotic taxi. And I just got a message from a friend. It was an old message. I think it takes time for my computer to load up to process the information. Of course, how it is how it is. It is how everything is. So I'm pretty much. And then also another thing, what I would think, everyone would probably, if everyone were to have spaceships and stuff, there would be a suit as well. I'm thinking maybe something that's easily worn, comfortable, but also we need to make sure that we have the right materials. That way they can handle, the people can handle wearing it. Of course, there's going to be different types of materials that could be used to make this stuff. It's just making the stuff might take a little while, and of course looking at the fact that I have looked at so many different things. And yeah, that brings us to the end of the video. I will be doing more videos soon, so just keep an eye on this what you call over the top dramatic, I say dramatic video. These are some important things that you need to know. And think about technology and all of that. Everything needs to be waterproof. Because think about it, you do not put a phone and water together. You'd never do that. So we need to create some umbrellas that can be helpful, but also maybe a phone umbrella. But even that might not work. There probably is some out there. But let's just make sure that all the technology works, and it takes time to put together. So yes, cheers, Jazz. Okay, don't forget to subscribe.